Well, hello there all you marvelous people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, the channel where I get to play some of my favorite games and talk about nature. And we are back in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and goodness gracious me, it has to be one of, if not the most beautiful games I have ever played. Now we're just going to quickly talk to Priya, and then we are going to get back into the ecology of the creatures and plants we see in the game here. Okay, so basically they just wanted to tell me that we have to continue taking out the RDA facility so that the air quality can improve, because otherwise the moon of Pandora is going to end up like Earth, lost. And Solek gave us a song chord, and then also we have to go look for Nor, because he is currently missing. And this is, I think, going to lead into a thing that I'm not very good with, and that is finding clues and figuring out why things, or how things are. Let's go find Nor. Okay, so we've got to match certain clues in pairs. Now we can start the investigation with this burst vein pod.
Nor must have come through here.
And it's just linked to that clue.
Okay,
and now,
Nor left HQ.
gotta figure out where he went.
Burst the vein pod must have brushed past it. The scent. Oh, yes! Track the scent!
Okay, we'll track the scent in a moment, but wow. Just wow, look at all the bioluminescence we have here. Oh, we've got more cat's ears here. The cat ear plants. These are the ones that we saw in the previous episode that track the sounds you make. Hehe. That's so cute. Now the bioluminescence we have here in all these plants would not be to talk to one another or to see one another, because they can't see each other at all. Because, well, plants don't have eyes. But it could most likely be to attract certain insects or animals that can see color, of course. A lot of the flowers will be bioluminescent because it will attract certain pollinators. And then the leaves of others like these may also attract certain organisms. It may, for example, attract certain insects which will eat the insects that are trying to eat the plant. So it may be a way for the plant to attract invertebrate predators that will eat pests eating it. But there are certain plankton species on Earth, for example, and then also certain fish that will, in response to predators, light up. And when they do so, of course, they are drawing attention to themselves. Now the plankton, for example, they light up because the hope is that it will attract a bigger fish that will eat the fish that's trying to eat them. So trying to attract predators to eat their predators. And you can see something similar in this here, where we are walking and then the little plants over here are lighting up, drawing attention to us. And it could be that it's trying to light up and show predators that there is something moving here, come eat it, before it eats us. Oh, lantern beetles. Now, interesting with the lantern beetle here, for example, you'll see that it has got only 4 normal legs and then 2 of these more pronounced legs. And these are the hind legs of this weird little lantern beetle. It has evolved to become what we call raptorial claws, like a praying mantis. Claws designed to grab prey. And you can see kind of some spikes there. Idea is that it's going to make it difficult for prey animals to escape. Now this little guy, the 4 legs here, can be used to jump straight up into the air. Similar, I guess, to how certain leaf hoppers, for example, will be able to become airborne. Leaf hoppers, for example, have a whole gear system in their legs that allow them to build up tension and then release it at the same time, jumping straight up into the air. And I suspect there's a similar mechanism happening in these legs as well. Now, when they do become airborne, you can see they blow up like this, not go poof, explode, but they take in a lot of air. And the idea is that, first of all, this makes them float a bit more, because now their body is mainly filled with air, which is at the same density as the air they are floating in or trying to fly in. And with Pandora's dense atmosphere, this means that they can actually remain airborne quite nicely, even with their teeny weeny tiny whiny little wings they have over here. The second thing it does is that this could be a deterrent to predators, making them appear bigger than they are, first of all, but secondly also making it difficult to swallow, so that predators tend to then avoid them. similar to pufferfish, for example, on Earth, which will also expand their body size to appear more intimidating, to be more difficult to swallow, and then of course in the case of the pufferfish, they're also toxic, which is an extra line of defense as well. And then of course they will glow at night, as you can see here as well, glowing around, similar to fireflies. This could be for males and females to find one another. That's so cool. And a whole bunch of bioluminescent fungi as well. Some fungi on Earth, for example, are also bioluminescent. Oh wow, look at these little guys. The Trickster Mantis. Now, although it has the word mantis in its name, this is not a mantis, because mantises are predators and this little guy is a herbivore. But it is trying to look more ferocious than it is. Now, we've got 6 legs here, typical of insects. And the interesting thing about the Trickster Mantis over here is that its response to predators depends on what predator it's looking at. It doesn't seem like it's able to fly, so it's largely land-based, terrestrial, and can't escape by flying like the fan lizards we saw previously in the previous episode, and instead it relies on the contrasting colorations on here. Pandora is a very vivid and colorful world, and the Trickster Mantis here with its light blue, orange, dark blue and black colors will blend in quite well. The coloration we have here is what we call disruptive camouflage. Disruptive camouflage basically being blotches and stripes and stuff like that that tries to break up the outline of this creature. Additionally, it's got a weird shape as well because it is mimicking a leaf, a fallen leaf. And the leaves on Pandora are not just green, many of them have got bioluminescent patterns, and that's why the Trickster Mantis here has a whole bunch of colors all over its leaves, really blending in perfectly with a fallen leaf. But this little Trickster Mantis will respond differently to a terrestrial or land-based predator. If it's an aerial predator, something flying along here, they will just freeze like it is doing here now, because then it's just trying to look like a fallen leaf. It's trying to mimic a fallen leaf. If it is a terrestrial predator, let's say a big insect coming along here trying to attack it, it will actually bluff its way to safety. It will intimidate it. It uses this hood over here to appear like the head of a bigger creature. And it's trying to, and then attacks the predator. It can't really inflict any damage with its teeny weeny little mouth parts there, but it is trying to intimidate the predator. Similar to how the snakehead caterpillar, for example, will try to mimic a snake's head. It's a little caterpillar on Earth, has got patterns on it that kind of look like eye spots on its head, and then it just curls its head around to try and look like a snake, which it definitely isn't, but it is a defense mechanism for it. And in this case then, hopefully, the predator will actually flee, allowing the Trickster Mantis to just continue on its way, as these little guys are currently doing. Oh man. Beautiful. Obviously does not perceive us as a threat because they're just moving, they're not attacking, they're not doing anything. They're just moving up and down here. Being a herbivore, most likely will be feeding on all kinds of plants along here. Perhaps a bit of detritus lying on the ground here, a bit of leaf litter. And now I think they're just going to go whoops into the soil here. Yeah, into the dense undergrowth. Now, as I was saying, the bioluminescent fungi on Earth, we also have got a whole bunch of bioluminescent fungi, and here you can see the bioluminescence on the Trickster Mantis trying to look like, well, leaves. And the fungi on Earth that are bioluminescent in many cases are trying to attract moths or certain flies or midges to then disperse its spores. So they will visit the mushrooms, the fungi, and in the process they will get some spores on their bodies. Now we have got, you can see there's a little halo forming, and right up there is a bell sprig, which is a plant we are going to go hopefully visit. Hopefully we remember to visit it on the way there. We're going to get a health increase from visiting it. What have we got here? The Lamplizzard. Oh my word, we are encountering so many interesting creatures on the way here. I mean, look at this. And as we are looking at this little guy over here, the Lamplizzard, I must just say that what I really appreciate is the fact that they have given us so much extra information here. There is so much info about the plants and the animals in this world. It is an ecologist's dream, this game. Absolutely. Now, one thing that they have got wrong, unfortunately, is that this taxonomical description here, the names here clearly given, at least lore-wise, I guess, by someone who doesn't do taxonomy, because this is just Chameleonidae. Chameleonidae is the family of chameleons. You can't really have that as a species epithet. And Sufflo here would just mean to inflate or to puff up. So it technically would actually have been Cameleo Sufflo, would actually be a more accurate scientific name of this little guy. But anyway, that's the only problem I have with some of the names they've got in here. Overall, though, I mean, look at this little guy. Isn't this just beautiful? So they don't always look like this. Apparently what happens is they look like a little chameleon. They've got 6 little legs, though, which are different from our chameleons, but most animals on Pandora appear to have 6 legs. You can see there's a tiny little head at the top there, at the front, wee, with a little spike. It's got a few spikes on its back, and it's got a very, very long tail, similar to chameleons. And it says that they are arboreal. They are tree-living creatures using their long tails and their 6 legs to walk around in the trees. If, however, they feel threatened, they look like this, where they will puff up and increase up to 5 times their original size. And this is done to intimidate and scare away predators. It doesn't harm the little creature to puff up like this, but they basically just inflate themselves with air, similar to pufferfish on Earth and how they would puff themselves up with water. Now, interesting, these little guys appear to be mostly solitary, it seems, not even requiring another individual for reproduction. They've got asexual reproduction, which is most likely a case of Parthenogenesis. Parthenos referring to virgin, genesis, creation. So it's a creation of an individual or birth of young without needing a partner. So it's asexual reproduction.
Hey, you there? I think Noor's nearby. Maybe you could speak to him about your clan, how it feels. So let
Alma and I are checking in on one of our camps. It's gone quiet.
Oops, daisy.
The sky people continue to spread.
You think they found it? So let
I suspect we're going to go there soon. But with the Parthenogenesis, for example, it's a method also used by a lot of animals on Earth, mostly invertebrates. Things like aphids will use, as we just go along the bioluminescence here, things like aphids will use Parthenogenesis to reproduce, especially in the middle of the season when conditions are perfect for them. And they just want to increase their numbers rapidly. Females will just create babies inside them without mating. But in vertebrates, it is actually quite rare. Very few vertebrate animals are able to use Parthenogenesis. There are some, like the flowerpot snake. Those individuals we've only ever found females of. There are no males that we have actually found on Earth. A shimmy fly, a whole bunch of weird little creatures all over the place. So that species completely depends on Parthenogenesis. Also some kind of lizard as well. I'll have the name down below as well. Also using Parthenogenesis. Those are what we call obligate parthenogenic creatures. Obligate meaning that they have no choice. They are only female. They need to use Parthenogenesis in order to reproduce. There we go. Here is the Bellsprig plant, and we are going to touch it to get an increase in health, which is always great, especially considering that we are going to get into some fights, I guess, in a moment. But some species, as I was trying to say, some species like the Komodo dragon, they can use Parthenogenesis, but they mostly carry on just using normal sexual reproduction, and where male and female find one another. But in cases where females actually are stuck on an island without any males, they can, through Parthenogenesis, create a male offspring. And then eventually, once the male offspring actually reaches maturity, she can breed with it. So if there's a shortage of males, well, they can just create their own male partners and then just carry on business as usual. But Parthenogenesis is far more common in invertebrates than in vertebrates. And in vertebrate species, it is mostly found in reptiles. as we are just making our way here. The music swelling, really amazing.
Hey there.
Hello, Ikran. Our first mountain Ikran, or mountain banshee. Wow. I suspect we need to go up here. Find the high ground. Oh, really such a stunning, beautiful game. The world reacting to, well, you and your presence. Welcome to Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Hello, Nor.
What must our ancestors think of us? Do you think they pity us? Sad to see what we've become?
We're still Sarentu.
Telan barely speaks our tongue. But then, he always preferred human words.
Alma says we all need time to adjust.
Alma is not Na'vi.
Why did the RDA come back?
They wanted more of Pandora. They always do.
Then we'll need to fight.
Yes. Ahari would have wanted us to fight.
Ahari being our sister. That unfortunately passed. And, well, there we go.
Can anyone hear me? Listen, Alma's got a problem over at our western camp. One of ours is hurt.
I'm here.
Oh, thank God. I'm picking up more RDA heading that way.
Go. I'll find Rinella and Telan. We'll make sure HQ is safe.
Well, okay. Of course, time will be of the essence here, so I think we're going to just jump down here. And this is also where we are going to call it a day, everybody. So thank you very much for joining me on our little adventure. We'll carry on with this quest next week on Tuesday. There will be another video coming out. But of course, Nic and I will be streaming this tomorrow evening, 6 to 10 South African time. So do feel free to pop in and come and say hi and explore the world of Pandora with us. And until Tuesday then, everybody, when the next video will be coming out, have a wonderful time. Stay safe. We'll see you all soon. Bye.